Welcome to Globalpose News. No survivors are expected after a passenger plane collided in mid-air with a helicopter near Washington, D.C. on Wednesday evening, officials in the U.S. say. The plane was carrying 64 passengers and crew when it landed in the Potomac River after the collision, while the helicopter had 3 soldiers on board. Figure skaters from the U.S. were among those who were on board the aeroplane. Russia has confirmed that some of its citizens were also on board. Search and rescue teams worked through the night to scour the waters in freezing temperatures. Authorities say they have now switched to a recovery operation. What happened? At around 21 o'clock local time, 2 GMT, on Wednesday, a PSA Airlines jet operating as American Airlines 5342 collided with a U.S. Army helicopter as it approached Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, according to the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA. The passenger plane broke into multiple pieces and sunk several feet into the river, while the helicopter ended up upside down on the water, reports said. The plane, a Bombardier CRJ-700, departed from Wichita, Kansas and was carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew, American Airlines said. The Pentagon said the helicopter involved was a Sikorsky H-60 that took off from Fort Beaver in Virginia. 3 U.S. soldiers were on board, Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser said. Another official said it was on a training flight, and it belonged to B Company, 12th Aviation Battalion from Fort Beaver in Virginia. A clip published online by liveatc.net, which streams air traffic, purports to capture the air traffic control conversation in the moments before the crash. A controller can reportedly be heard warning the helicopter about the plane, but receiving no reply. The audio has not been verified by the BBC. The FAA said it would investigate the incident, together with the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB. How many victims are there? DC Fire and EMS Chief John Donnelly said in a Thursday morning update that officials don't believe there are any survivors from this accident. He said teams had recovered 27 bodies from the plane, and 1 from the helicopter. A law enforcement source familiar with the investigation earlier told CBS that a higher number of at least 30 bodies had already been found. U.S. Figure Skating said several members of our skating community were sadly aboard the flight. It said this group comprised athletes, coaches and family members who were returning home from a development camp in Kansas. Russian citizens were also on board, the Kremlin confirmed, after local media reported that ice skating coaches and former world champions Yevgenia Shishkova and Vadim Normov were on the plane. About 300 responders on rubber boats were earlier deployed to search for survivors, Donnelly said in an earlier update. The challenge is access. There is wind, pieces of ice, on the water. It is dangerous and hard to work in, he said. For more updates, news, views from around the globe, follow us on all our social media platforms at Globalpose.